Hello everyone. Today I thought I'd do a bit of a long-term review on my beater. Had it for 5 years now. Put about 150 hours on it. I'd show you that, but we'll get into reasons behind that in a second. So I got the racing version, 250 racing version, premix, no oil injection, and the KYB forks. So let's go over a few things of what I like, what I don't like, and yeah, give you my overall thoughts on these as a brand as a whole, I guess. All right, let's start with the pros, I guess. Pros are it's very easy to ride. Power is depending on your skill level. For me, it can be a bit much sometimes. Obviously, I'm still pretty amateur, weekend warrior, whatever. But as my fitness has progressed and as my seat time has progressed, it's become easier and easier to deal with. So yeah, pros is it's quite easy to ride. I enjoy riding it. It's very thin. It's very narrow. It's one of probably the narrowest I've ridden. So I quite like that. Being two-stroke, it's obviously really easy to flick around in the tight stuff. I really like the racing because it comes with all the blingy stuff. I like the nice wide foot pegs. I don't think I'll ever go back. Nice aftermarket set of bars on it from factory. Came with domino grips, but I've gone to the ODI lock-ons. Once those grips wore out, they're just easier to change out, and I've got the soft compound, so they're quite nice and help a little bit with the vibration side of things. After I got the forks done, which I should have done straight up and not been a tight ass, handles fantastically. I found these for myself straight out of the bat were way too stiff for the, I guess you could say, trail riding that I do. So yeah, once I had them redone to be a bit softer, it's a hell of a lot better. It's a way better bike to ride. It's very fun to ride. I enjoy it. That's pretty much all I've got for pros. Now cons is going to be a bit of a long one. So pretty much straight up after I bought it was like a couple of months, if that. The wiring harness from Standard in here just broke from turning the bars. It was the way it was routed from factory was crushing the wires, and being Italian wiring, it's pretty terrible. So yeah, it broke pretty much straight away. Beta, however, they're awesome to deal with. They just sent me a whole replacement updated harness. I believe it ran from up in the front here behind everything, and I think it plugged in somewhere down in here, so it was just a replacement under warranty. They shipped that straight out. It was really quick, but ever since then my map switch doesn't work anymore, so I've never bothered to try and fix it or diagnose it or anything, so I'm not sure why that is. But anyway, it's just something that I got over and just dealt with it. Another problem that I've experienced a lot of is front sprocket seals. I don't know what it is with these things, but they just keep letting go. Like, wait, I've probably put like 4 in this already. You know, so I don't understand why that is, whether it's terrible quality O-rings or what, but yeah, I've had to do that a few times. I've recently just put a new collar and everything in it to see if that helps. Yeah, anyway, we'll see how that goes. Another con is exhaust O-rings for your expansion chamber. Now, I get that it's a bit of a wear out part and you need to replace them every so often, but they don't seem to last very long. Again, I don't know if it's just terrible quality rubber or what it is, but I've actually with this set, I've actually put a little bit of gasket maker, tiny little bit, around it to try and help it seal, and so far that's been helping with the new O-rings. Because yeah, like it's just like you do a few rides and they're just leaking. I don't know what the go is there, but anyway, failing the gasket, I've actually found that the Honda CR250 expansion chamber O-rings are the same size, so I'm going to give them a go in here next and see how long they last. They might be a better option for people that are looking to solve that issue. But yeah, I've had a fair bit of problems with it leaking, just way too quickly. Like you feel like you do about probably 5 rides and they're leaking. I feel like you should get a lot longer than that out of them. But anyway, minor thing, just inconvenience. Another problem, which is pretty standard with a lot of these, unfortunately, is your speedo will just randomly reset. That happened to me a few times. It's happened to me a few times while it was brand new, so I lost all the hours, all the Ks that were on the display for your dash. And it all comes down to just the terrible connector types that are in behind here. They're terrible. They're loose. Like they fall out. Like I've experienced this as well riding. Went out for a ride one time. Electric start wouldn't work. I'd been riding around. I pulled up, had a yarn to a mate, went to go and start it. Nothing. I had to pull. Not that it's hard. I had to pull this off, the headlight and everything, headlight shroud off, and found that the connectors were all just loose in behind there. So, you know, come on guys, like just update your connectors. I'm not sure if the 2025s are any better. From what I've seen and read, it doesn't seem like it. So that's a bit of a letdown on their part. And some of the wiring is just atrocious, really. Anyway, that's a bit of a problem. Speedo cables was another one that people were having a lot of dramas with. And I think it's probably just the way that they're routed from factory. As you can see, they run pretty close in here, so you've got to keep an eye on it and keep all of this adjusted so that it doesn't end up getting caught in your spokes and bits and pieces. So I've actually replaced my speedo cable already from issues, so that's another one that you've got to look out for. Just recently, again, I went to go and replace the battery in the dash, which I believe is a stupid setup. Like, honestly, it should have some way of either topping that battery up or not relying on that battery while you're running to make that battery last. I have just done nothing but replace them. I've been through a lot of batteries actually for that, so I'm not sure if that's a fault on this bike or whether it's just the way they are in general, but I feel like that's a pretty terrible design idea. Just recently I went to go and replace the battery and one of the tabs in there snapped off that holds the battery in. So now my dash doesn't work anymore and it's $300 for a new one. So now I'm kind of like, it can probably just go without that for a while. Again, recently, went to go for a ride, got halfway down the road and the bike just bogged out, like as if it was like it was either a seizure or a foul plug. Wasn't a seizure, wasn't a foul plug. Turns out the pickup just shit itself. There was no signs, there was no like signs of an issue happening. It just died mid-ride. So it left me stranded because I was obviously on the bike, so I had to ring a friend, come pick me up. Lucky he's a bike mechanic. We came back here, we got straight into it together, pulled everything apart and started trying to diagnose what was going on. Checked everything over, found out the pickup died. So had to get a new pickup. I don't know what sort of lifespan you should get out of them, but from previous bikes and stuff that I've owned and quads, that's not really that's never really been an issue, so to speak, until they get, 20 years old, sort of thing. So I'm not sure what has caused that, but now I have to keep an eye on that. The other thing too is I am losing clutch fluid, and I believe I'm losing it internally. So I believe there's a seal in the slave cylinder that is letting it past. So again, now I've got to go and pull all of that apart, try and find out where it's going, replace it. I don't know what everyone else's experiences are with hydraulic clutches, so I'm not sure what sort of longevity you would get out of that. Again, I would imagine I would like to think you would get longer out of it. So yeah, let me know what sort of lifespan you're getting out of your hydraulic clutches when it comes to internal seals and stuff. Another thing, going back to the wiring, if you reroute your indicators like I have and just use the standard little ducktail so that you don't have to have the huge road thing on here. Again, the connectors and the wiring is just terrible. Like, I've tried my best to route these in here as neat as possible and keep them out of the weather and all of that jazz, and even still the indicators only work intermittently. Sometimes you can ride along and you can give this a smack and then the indicator will start working. It's just like, it's just terrible wiring setup. So, little things like this, it's just sort of, every time you turn around with this thing, there's something else that's decided to play up or has stopped working or is working intermittently, or you've got to keep repairing or replugging in, etc., etc. So it's just been like a little nightmare that just continues, because you've gone from enjoying the motorcycle to now hoping that it won't just let you down somewhere while you're out. Mainly just in electrical side of things. As for the rest of it, like I did a top end. I didn't do it, but I had a top end done at about 80 hours and everything was sweet. So now it's getting on a bit. I'll be doing another top end in probably another 50 hours. Get all of that freshened up if I decide to keep this bike. At this stage, I'm tossing up with selling it and buying something else. I would like to stay on the two-stroke realm of things. However, that doesn't leave me a lot of options for road registrable bikes. It kind of just leaves me with KDM, Husqvarna, or KTM again, or Gas again, KTM, or Sherco. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this yet, but at this stage I'm just going to keep using it, keep fixing it when it needs stuff, and go from there. While we also had the stator and everything, stator cover and stuff off, looks like the crank seal has deteriorated and is letting a little bit of oil through, so I've got to, when I do all the slave cylinder seals and stuff, I'm going to try and do that crank seal as well. That's probably a bit of a wear out item, but again, I don't know, I would expect to get a bit longer out of this sort of stuff, but maybe I'm asking too much. But yes, as for would I buy another one of these, I'm on the fence. I like the bikes, I like how they feel, I like the way they look, I like the way the motors perform, I like the power delivery of them, they're quite smooth, but I just don't want to have to deal with all of these little niggling issues that can just spontaneously arise. So I would, if I was going to get another one, I would probably step down to the 200 just for a bit more user friendly and to try and advance myself. But like I said, I just don't want to deal with all of these niggling little issues that are just becoming a pain in the butt. It just feels like every time you fix something, something else is gone wrong. Whether it, it might only be minor, but it's still just constant. So yeah, I'm at this stage. I don't think I would get another one. I would probably lean more towards Sherco, but I want to have a look and see what other sort of problems they may have. I know a lot of people complain about how low their bars are. So I don't know if that would be a long-term thing that would affect me. However, I don't think it would be too bad. But anyway, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but at this stage it's staying with me. Overall, it's been a great bike to ride when it is 100%. It's very fun, very light, very flickable. I enjoy it. I'm always smiling when I'm riding it, so it's a great feeling bike, great bike to ride, but long-term ownership, it's just tedious little problems that just keep coming up. So yeah, that's my view on these after 150 hours. Again, I can't show you that because the hour meter that was on here went flat and decided to reset, so I've had to put a new hour meter on it, which it now has 10 hours on. And I can't show you anything on the dash because now the dash doesn't work and it's reset like 3 times, so it's not accurate anyway, which is quite painful for any sort of trying to keep on top of maintenance, bike history, anything like that. So yeah, little niggling issues that are just a pain when they do go wrong. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you've had any problems with any of the newer models, whether they've improved them, maybe they have. I'm not 100%. I never had any of the main bearing issues like a lot of these did around this time when they were released, so I'm very thankful for that. However, I have had reports of them being fixed under warranty anyway because of known said issue. But yeah, for myself, touch wood, I haven't had any dramas with that. But yeah, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this gives you a bit of an insight of what it's like to own one of these things. Whether you want to put up with the little issues or not. Me personally, I've come from relatively trouble-free riding over the years, so for me this is a little bit frustrating. And like a lot of my mates tell me, should have bought a Honda. Yeah, probably should have, guys, but it is what it is. And honestly, the times that this has been 100% and I've gone out for a ride, I've thoroughly enjoyed myself on it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. I'll leave it at that and I'll catch you next time.